Take a close look. Birla Carbon produces metric tons of these on a daily basis. These simple-looking little beads are used in numerous products that touch people's lives every day. These beads are carbon black, an engineered material that is in demand throughout the world. As one of the world's leading manufacturers of carbon black, Birla Carbon's plants run non-stop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To look at this plant, you may wonder how anyone makes sense of this maze of pipes and tanks and stacks. To add to the mystery, the carbon black manufacturing process is a closed process, so you hardly ever actually see carbon black, the product. The first 10 meters or 30 feet of the manufacturing process happens in the reactor, while the remaining hundreds of meters of pipe are designed to transform carbon black into a tangible, packageable, transportable product that meets our customers' needs and exceeds their expectations. Every plant consists of 11 basic areas: the feedstock oil tank farm, reactor area, collection, beading operations, bulk storage, packaging, warehouse, maintenance, laboratory, the control room, and general offices. But the focus of every operation begins with our people working together and looking out for each other. Around the world, Birla Carbon's employees begin every shift by getting together and discussing safety. Keeping safety foremost in the mind of everyone on site creates safe workplaces. In the same way we are committed to safety, we are committed to running our operations in an environmentally responsible way with zero tolerance for non-compliance. The water retention system is one of several environmental protection systems in place. Every plant sits on a concrete pad with drains that form a water collection system. Water runoff comes from water that we use in the process or to clean equipment or from rainwater. All of this water is collected and recycled in the plant, or it is treated and only then is it released. Every plant has a laboratory for quality testing, a maintenance area for servicing smaller equipment, and a control room where the production process is monitored and data are collected. Now let's take a look at how carbon black is made. The manufacturing process begins with a single raw material, feedstock, which is heavy residual oil. Every plant maintains a ready supply of feedstock to keep the process running. A single production line can use as much as 7 tons per hour. We heat the feedstock in order to pump it through the pipes. The size of each plant is determined by the number of production lines or units it has, or how many essential parallel production processes there are. You can see 3 lines here. To better understand the use of these tanks, pipes, and stacks, we are going to follow carbon black as it makes its way through a single production line. The feedstock is routed from the tank farm to where the reactor is located. Carbon black is made in the reactor, the heart of the carbon black plant. Hot air and natural gas are introduced in the combustion section of the reactor, heating the reactor to temperatures near 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The feedstock oil is sprayed into the reactor as a very fine mist. The small droplets of feedstock oil heat rapidly, vaporize, and crack into carbon molecules, forming nuclei, which grow and collide to form the carbon black particles. As the carbon black particles move down the length of the reactor, water is sprayed into the reactor to rapidly cool or quench the stream to stop the reaction. This milk-like stream of carbon black and gases is referred to as process gas. The process gas needs to be cooled down. It enters the heat exchanger, which is this large vertical piece of equipment. At about 1,800 degrees, the heat exchanger captures the heat energy and recycles it, returning the heat to the reactor, conserving natural resources. The exchange of heat works along vertical tubes, which have a high amount of surface area, and as the process gas travels at a high velocity up the inside of the tubes, air travels downward along the outside of the tubes, becoming hotter and hotter as it picks up the heat from the walls of the tubes. This results in process air, air, heating up to approximately 1,500 degrees, that is recycled in the reactor. The carbon black leaves the heat exchanger about 50% cooler than it was when it entered. Water sprays cool the carbon black further before the process gas enters the unit bag collectors. These large vessels are filled with almost 300 long, skinny bags. The cloth bags create a high amount of surface area for the tiny particles of carbon black to collect on. As the carbon black collects on the outer surface, the gas passes through the cloth bags and rises to the top. A quick pulse of air makes the bags vibrate for just a moment so that the carbon black on the surface falls to the bottom of the bag collector to the hopper, where the carbon black is now separated from the process gas. The gases exiting the bag collector are now referred to as tail gas. Tail gas contains hydrogen and carbon monoxide, so it has combustion and heat energy, making it a valuable fuel. So the tail gas is routed from the bag collectors to the dryers and a boiler, where it is combusted. The boiler produces steam that is used for power generation. We then either reuse the steam to generate electricity to run our own plants, or in some cases, we sell the steam to our neighbors. Birla Carbon makes sure that the tail gas is properly combusted and the energy is used, minimizing the impact on natural resources and, in some cases, producing an additional revenue source. Carbon black that is collected from the main bag collector, the first 3 modules, is conveyed by air to the dense tank bag collector, located in the beading area. The carbon black, which at this time is an extremely fine lightweight powder, is fed from the hopper to a pulverizer. Because consistency in carbon black products is critical to our customers, we use a pulverizer before we begin the beading process. The carbon black drops out of the pulverizer into a transition or surge tank called the dense tank. As gravity settles the carbon black, a slow-moving agitator helps remove air from it. Next, the carbon black is fed from the dense tank and conveyed to a mixer known as the wet bead machine. The beaded product is a much better form for conveying than powder and is easily stored, packaged, transported, and mixed by our customers. Inside the mixer, a long shaft with approximately 200 pins rotates at high speed to blend water and a beading additive with the carbon black until small beads form. The wet carbon black beads contain approximately 50% water, and for the first time, we can hold the carbon black in our hands to inspect the beads for size and roundness. The wet beads exit the bead machine and are dropped into a dryer and heated to 480 degrees. The beads are heavy with water, and the dryers tumble the carbon black around. The dryer is heated by combusting the tail gas from the main bag collectors. In utilizing the tail gas, a byproduct of the carbon black production process, we conserve natural gas and reduce our operating costs. The carbon black beads spend about 20 to 40 minutes in the dryer before they are completely dry and can be dropped into a bucket elevator. Here, a series of buckets continuously cycle and carry the carbon black straight up, where it is then passed through a vibrating screen. The screen is another tool that helps ensure the consistency of the carbon black. The screen separates any large beads from the product and diverts them for reprocessing. The screened carbon black product is then conveyed upward again via bucket elevator and is dropped onto a belt conveyor, where it can be carried out over the massive bulk storage tanks. By this time, the carbon black is cooled to about 170 degrees. Bulk tanks are divided into compartments so that several grades of carbon black can be stored at the same time. The tanks are up high so that rail cars and bulk trucks can drive underneath, and the carbon black can be easily loaded by the use of simple gravity. The carbon black is also conveyed to the packaging area, where the carbon black can be packaged into super sacks, which can weigh up to 1 ton, as well as smaller bags, which can be filled to 50 pounds. Samples are again taken as a quality control measure, and each bag is coded and labeled. The bags are stored in the warehouse, ready to be shipped around the world. A Birla carbon plant making carbon black 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Birla Carbon is the world's largest manufacturer and supplier of carbon black. And even though carbon black is something you may not see every day, it improves lives throughout the world every day by adding strength, durability, and enhanced performance to products we all use, such as automobile tires, plastics, like those used in your mobile phone or the dashboard of your car. It is used in cosmetics, ink toners for printers and copiers, paint and coatings, and the ink that you read in your daily newspaper. Birla Carbon, the carbon black leader, making your world a better place every day.